We're live. Kirsten contacted us right at the last minute and said she's not going to be here. I think I noticed on Facebook that it's her birthday today, so
Is it?
feel free to send her a happy birthday message, I suppose. So, why would she come here to celebrate, right? She's
What would you do with your birthday?
We're fun.
There's plenty of other
Well, we
hours.
didn't bring cake and ice cream either, so
Well, yeah, but there's plenty of other hours in the day to celebrate.
Oh,
certainly
man.
is.
Shoot.
Unless you're one of my friends, she calls it a birthday week, and she's MIA for a whole week.
I tried to get away with that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you not get away with it?
Well, you know, when we were in Australia, I could get at least 2 days.
Oh.
You know, the Australian day and the
Yeah.
American day. You know.
So,
Didn't work so well anymore.
who's the vice chair? Is it you, Bob?
Yeah.
So
It's
are you
Bob.
gonna- we'll have you take lead on the meeting today.
Oh, good. Good thing I came
We do
today.
that.
We're good.
Well, welcome. We need to discuss the minutes. Any objections to the minutes?
No, it's been a hot minute since we've been together.
It's been a very
Yeah,
hot
since
minute.
before the parade, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys have fun in the parade? Who all attended the parade?
I heard it went well.
There you go, Elaine.
It
Was
went
it
good.
awesome?
Elaine was there,
Yeah.
and
Good.
Britton was there, and Sean was there driving the car.
Yep. Britton is no longer with us.
Yeah, he's
Oh, shoot.
Really?
moved on
He's
to the
That's
on
it?
the planning commission.
Oh, okay. It's,
Taking over the-
Oh, you went right there.
yeah, I mean, you know,
Wow.
no longer
Oh
with
yeah,
us.
I guess that sounded kind of grim.
I knew what you meant.
It's all
Happy
perspective.
Halloween. Good joke there.
But, you
I
know,
couldn't pass
I
it
went
up.
and took pictures at the University Place Mall for the beautification thing, and thank heavens it was a female representative because I told her, and there are signs there on buildings saying UP, and I said, I think we ought to get a picture in front of you of the UP sign, and not even thinking what that sounded like, but they really need to change that. That's not good.
That's pretty funny.
That is funny.
That's great. Well, I approved those minutes. How's that?
I second it.
There we go. I have no idea.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass unanimously?
Fantastic.
Bob, you
yeah, we have enough for a quorum. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Community garden update. We have an update on that?
I will provide as much of an update as I can give. Hillary Whitaker is the person that we've been working with in community action. You probably saw that she was part of the invite for months.
Mhm.
She reached out to me today. I've been trying to contact her since Monday, last week, about updates on that. We did do a survey and we got great results and good feedback, but she wanted to do a second survey because what she did was she sent a mailer to the local school
Mhm.
and had the kids take them home to their parents and had them fill them out. We since helped her make some message boards with some QR codes. She wanted more relevant data with some more detailed questions to help us know maybe more of the scope and how much they would be participating and whether or not they wanted to take lead on it, if they'd be interested in classes and other things. We just wanted to kind of know a little more in depth as to, do you want this or not, to how engaged will you be with it, and what would you hope to see in a community garden. When I talked to her last week, she got back to me this morning. We did not have a single response on the QR code.
Oh, nuts.
So I asked her where she placed them and advised that maybe she ought to place them around the playground where parents are just kind of hanging out, burning time on their phones anyways. And maybe we need to look at a different way of reaching out to that local area. But she declined being able to come to the meeting today. I don't know what she had come up. Bob wasn't able to be here for the earlier meeting, so I'll kind of give an update based on what we know. The location that we're looking at for this garden is down at Westmore Park.
I drove down there. It's a pretty nice little spot.
Yeah, I think it'll be a cool spot if we can make it happen. So pending the outcome of her more in-depth review, the next steps would be fundraising. We talked about that a little bit in our last meeting, and Britton seemed kind of excited about going into that. I thought I might ask if you guys had any ideas or had any efforts going in that. I don't imagine anyone's put too
I
much.
haven't done anything. I think
time
we're all,
into
we're on the
helping
waiting.
find that, but,
Yeah.
How big will this be at this location?
yes, let's go there.
Because I think that would limit who we're marketing it to.
What was it? When I drove down, it was a decent size.
Yeah, so we're looking at a footprint, essentially, we would start with using this space right here for the community garden.
Mhm.
If you can kind of see the way I outlined that. This open field space gets used for programming and sports. As you can see, they've got some lines there, but this dead space without the trees, we just thought that might be a good corner that we can put some nice raised beds in. I've kind of put out a specific criteria because it is the main entrance to this park, and I want to make sure that it's aesthetically pleasing and looks really nice. So the idea would be to do something very similar to what IHC's done on 4th North,
Which is
where it's
nice.
fenced in, it's nice raised beds. We would probably have like a community shed with a lock on it or something that people have access to with a code placed somewhere where they can have some tools on site and some things that the community can use to work in the gardens with. But it's nice because it's off the main road, it's kind of tucked away to where it's not just walk by and take people's produce. It's something that you kind of have to be aware of to participate. And it's got parking there and a spot where we can put a little shed there. So this is the location that we have identified to be a good spot. It's surrounded by low-income neighborhoods that I think would really benefit from it. All of these are like fourplexes and small apartments. And the initial response was, yeah, we would love to have that, but she wanted to have more of an engagement in the study before we decided to move forward with a green light.
Just
So-
a question about, I know the school is planning to fence that Westmore in. Does that impact your plans at all?
Nope, that line, I believe, the property line, you can kind of see where the green changes.
Totally. Yeah, I guess the
It's
question
right
would be
there.
more, are you okay with how that impacts your remaining green space in your park?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. If we shift that just a little bit, it's still well outside of that area. So we should be good. I don't see there being any problems with that fence going in, so.
Excuse me, I'm not familiar with the other one, that has the fence around it. Is
Yeah.
that fence?
Let's
Just
go
a
there.
Is it a short one just for aesthetics, or is it tall as to keep
think
people out?
Well, I think it's like a wire, so you
Yep.
can actually see through it
Uh-huh.
It's
but
a
it's-
short one.
What's this,
at the hospital at
Uh-huh.
Orem Community.
This is the one that we're kind of using as the model. Let's see if Street View allows you to kind of see. Yeah, you can probably get a pretty good view of it. It's more or less to keep dogs out of it and cat. Well,
Okay.
maybe not cats.
Oh,
Cats
so
can
it's
probably.
still-
work
Oh,
their
I
way
see,
through it.
okay.
It's
And
actually
then it
really
has,
nice.
and then it has like the little metal.
Has
Oh,
anybody
so
talked
pretty.
to them about, people taking the produce that haven't been a part of it? Has anybody talked to the hospital about any
This
issues
is the
with that?
hospitals. And I don't know if they've had problems with that or not. I don't really know. We did reach out to IHC though to see if they would be participated or if they would be interested in sponsoring our garden. They said absolutely not. We don't want anything to do with it. This has been a big project for them and is very labor intensive. They found that they ended up participating in it more than they thought they would. It's not just being taken care of by volunteers. They probably have staff contributing. So they weren't interested in helping
That's right.
us at all. However, they
It's
were
big.
absolutely willing to meet with us as a consultant to kind of share some lessons learned and pros and cons of ways that we can maybe help ours be more successful, and we're definitely gonna talk to them about that.
Who is that intended to help then? The neighbors? The neighboring homes?
I
or-
didn't have the initial conversation with them. That happened with Carson Hardy and the community action girl. When Carson has since left the city, I don't know if
Oh, I
you met
wonder where
Carson.
he went, yeah.
Yeah, he took a job, is he with Spanish Fork?
I have no idea.
I think he's like a deputy city manager or something. He got a pretty cool opportunity down at Spanish Fork, and I'm kind of just picking up the pieces and reached out to Hillary, and I'm kind of trying to keep this thing going. So I don't know. I wasn't part of the initial conversation with IHC, but when I get engaged with them, I'll let you know.
Does it make us concerned at all that IHC has, I mean, I feel like that would be a reasonable template for us to follow, and now recognizing that if we go this route, there's probably a significant amount of work that now falls to the city, and are we okay with that?
We are not okay with that, but Community Action is offering to be a part of that. They're gonna be heavily involved in its success and supporting that. So depending on what that partnership looks like in the end, it's reason for me to be concerned for sure. The city has participated in some community gardens in the past, and every one of them have failed. Chris is not a big fan of this, but we're doing it differently. We're looking for community buy-in and ownership. We're looking for Community Action to partner and help it be a success. They are offering to be a big part of the fundraising and the installation. All they're really asking from the city at this point is, can you give us a water service and a space? Yeah, you bet we can do that. We'd be happy.
And is there
to
any
do
kind of
that.
like contract in place where we could say, yeah, we'll help provide that, but that maintenance
There
falls
will
to you
be.
now?
There will be, yeah. We're gonna have an agreement in place that's filed.
But you need to
and
check
signed.
out the ones in Provo and Spanish Fork. They're really good.
Yeah, you guys went on a tour and did that, right?
So I think it's doable. It's just, I don't know why prior.
Yeah, they've got examples of them working in other cities, and I'm excited about that if we can make it work.
Have they said what makes them successful in those places?
That's probably why she's going the extra mile with this commitment, because when you get people locally, they see it's theirs, they'll take ownership. I think prior, maybe when they just thought it was the city's deal, maybe that's why it wasn't
Yeah,
as
I'm like-
involved.
There's also a
this is the
small fee
hospitals.
involved, like
You don't
lease a bed
necessarily-
kind of thing. There's certain controls
Yeah.
that they put into place to make it successful. When you give the community ownership and buy-in, they feel like it's a space of their own. They're renting a bed, so to speak. There's a financial responsibility to it. It seems like those do much better. So we're all in on making this work. We just want to make sure that it's a success. And so I apologize for how long it's taking. We just want to make sure if
Oh,
we're going
no,
to do
I
it, we
mean,
want
there's
it to
valid
be a
reasons
success
to-
and not a waste of our time and money. Because it is very expensive to put in initially.
Yeah, I would think a conversation with the IHC people would be really valuable to find out what doesn't work and
Yep.
not repeat that. But I'm glad to know they have other cities doing it. You know, I just wonder if things get worse, you know, we're not in a good trajectory here in terms of a lot of things. But, you know, if this food source becomes a necessity for some people, might we, I mean, I was driving around the city center, heaven forbid, let's hope it never gets this bad, but all that beautiful green space, it's just for aesthetics. I guess we could expand it if we needed
Oh,
to.
you bet. Yeah.
And then put barbed wire around it. I don't know. Just thinking out loud.
Just concertina wire.
Yeah.
Right. Looks like a concentration camp with a
Yeah.
corner tower and
And this could definitely be
Our
something for
mission.
next year.
Well, and Carson and Hillary at Community Action were also really kind of enthused that it was Windsor Park because it's right there by the school, and they thought maybe the kids would also want to get into it, and maybe okay.
See, that could be really cool.
Yeah.
And the
maybe
teachers rally them.
ASD,
Yeah,
maybe
and then-
ASD adopts
Could be
a
a good partner.
gardening class
Yeah.
and some of
Yeah.
the kids learn how to garden. And,
how to grow
yeah, there's some cool
food and
things
stuff.
to it.
So they were kind of excited to maybe get that.
Much better than that lot that's
By
on 8th
Smith.
North,
By
yeah,
Harms.
Macy's. or
Yeah.
Harms,
I
yeah.
agree.
And then what do you do during the winter months? Just have everybody clean everything out and start from scratch in the spring?
Yeah, just like your article you shared with us. That's exactly
Wasn't
what
my
they would
article.
do.
You know, I read. I knew nothing about
I
this.
thought I saw your comment at the top. I thought that was comical. I thought to myself, Peay will know not to include that in the article, but if he does, that's a good
Well,
laugh
I
either
think
way.
I think they should. I mean, trust me, this was the best option.
No, I thought it was great. It's good information for all of us.
Well, and there's more. I just didn't want to go on 3 pages.
Yeah.
So when do you want to repeat, try to connect with her?
So I am gonna probably meet with her this week about where are we gonna put the QR codes for a better outcome. I think we're kind of just waiting on, do we have enough data to feel comfortable with
Yeah.
greenlighting the project? Because they've got a big stake in it as well. They're the ones that are gonna be helping us install it
Mhm.
and supporting it and bringing money to the table. I think they also need to feel good about whether or not this is the right spot. So unfortunately, as long as it's taking, I think we're still kind of waiting on, do we
That's
have
all right.
enough survey
Yeah.
results to feel good
That's
about
fair.
moving forward? So I don't know how to tell you when we move
Oh,
forward.
no, I more like just when we reconnect, so yes
Yeah.
with that, yeah.
I'll just keep, as soon as I have more updates with her, I'll keep providing an update to this group.
So what kind of questions are you asking right now of people to find out what their interest level is? And how much information are they getting? Are they getting information that says that there might be a fee associated with doing it?
The new survey will, yeah. Maybe it's, are you okay to pay a fee? What kind of fee do you feel is acceptable for X amount of space? Are you willing to take ownership and participate? Would you be willing to be a garden owner? Would you like to provide a class? I think she's got a whole template of questions that they've used at other sites that have been the feedback they need to feel good about it, and she's sharing that. I haven't seen the actual more in-depth survey that she did. She came to me and said, I am gonna be about 2 weeks to get these signs out. Do you have a recommendation on where we put them? And I says, tell you what, you send me your graphic and I'll have our sign shop do it today. And we'll get them out for you, so that we weren't waiting 2 more weeks. So I was really hoping that we would have results today. And I was surprised to hear that we didn't have results. So I need to talk to her about where she placed those signs that we gave her and see if we can get a better outcome.
Is there any chance of putting flyers on people's stores?
Yeah. I think that's part of what the first survey was. Unfortunately, it just wasn't in depth. It was like an initial, would you support this? How do you feel about it? It was very generic, open questions of yes or no, not how much would you support it and how involved would you want to be kind of questions, which I think is by design, because a lot of times when people see a very thorough survey, they're like, I don't have time for this. I'm the same way. I get something from someone I bought something from, and it's like 3 questions in, I'm like, this is annoying. I'm backing out of it. So I think they've done a few of these and know what they're doing. I don't know what to tell you other than that. I'll see if I can get a copy of the survey, though, if you want to see it. You can probably
Yeah, I
send
would.
it to me. Okay?
And what kind of exposure the survey gets?
Yeah. Well, and maybe I don't think we put it on our social media, but I don't think we wanted to, because it's kind of a central area.
Yeah,
We know the whole city supports it. We want to know how engaged this neighborhood will be, so it's
Yeah.
not as easy as just,
It might be
Facebook
that something
posting.
like going to like Lowe's, which isn't too far away, right, from where Windsor Park is.
Mhm.
Maybe some
Westmore.
of the Westmore, not Westmore. Different W Park. Anyway, Lowe's isn't maybe putting stuff like see if we could post something around Lowe's.
well, maybe what I ought to do, I imagine with the initial survey, I think she has a record of emails.
So
Maybe we ought to reach out to those that responded in the first place specifically with a follow-up survey.
Great
I don't know
idea.
if she's done that yet. That would be a better
And,
way to do it.
maybe people who have expressed interest in it would be ones that we could use to recruit others who might be,
Yeah.
who aren't exposed to it.
Have them help spread the survey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Good
get-
ideas,
You
I'll
get
do
a,
that.
you get a, half dozen or a dozen volunteers that are interested in it.
Yep.
It doesn't take very long to cover that neighborhood.
No, it would go quick, I imagine. Yeah. Okay. Any other business?
I can't think of it. When's our next signs?
the
coming up?
next, I've contacted Pete Wolfley to order the holiday signs. You'll each get two letters.
Cool.
And I expect those to probably be here by the end of October. So, and then usually, you start giving them out right after Thanksgiving. Stuff. But if you have signs left over from the summer, you can hold on to them, and if somebody does an excellent job for Halloween and decorating, because around the city there are some people who
Oh,
really
yeah.
go all out for
Oh,
Halloween.
that's a good idea. We should maybe think about that for next year too.
That you can always give them out
I had to
there.
go steal some from Kirsten. I ran out. So.
Or Britain.
Or Britain. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good thought.
So,
And if any of you know someone that you think would be a great candidate for this commission, maybe
Oh, okay.
have them put in an application where we've got us fill
All
Britain's
right.
spot.
That's
now.
right, because we're down another
We're down a
person.
member now.
And I forget. Is that online through which page?
it's through orem.org, and then you click on, I believe, is it under the government with commissions? Let's see. Boards and commissions, no, on
Is that
government.
one?
Boards and commissions. And
There
then
you
once
go.
they're,
Backslash board of
Okay.
commissions.
All right.
so, you just apply on in there, and then further down it gives you the
And then
option.
they get to pick which ones.
Yeah,
they
what
want.
ones they're interested in
Okay.
possibly serving on. So yeah.
Are we
but
forgetting anything else?
That's all I got.
Well, I'm curious as
yeah.
to, there's an initiative out there that apparently they have one location already in my town or something.
My hometown.
My
My
hometown.
hometown.
Anybody familiar with that?
Yeah, let me give you an update on that. The city is working through an agreement process right now with ASD to lease Sharon Elementary.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be doing the My Hometown initiative there. I've only heard very bird level descriptions of what that's gonna include.
So it's already started in what neighborhood is it?
Yeah, they got
We had a
couple lined up.
kickoff meeting at Geneva Park
Yes,
a few
so in that
weeks
neighborhood
ago.
there.
I've got a couple neighbors that are down there. My uncles did the ones up in West Jordan, and they loved it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. It's an awesome program.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's a non-denominational thing, but it's run by volunteers from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who organize classes, English classes, Spanish classes, piano lessons, sewing classes. Help
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
childcare, like all kinds of tutoring for kids, and then they pick a few service projects. I think they take a couple of days a year, and they do some, pretty big service projects. So and so needs a new roof, or let's help paint this fence, or whatever. And they get the people in the community involved, and they bring in volunteers from the outside. Kind of just help get a little bit more energy in some of these neighborhoods. Is it Geneva Heights? Is that the neighborhood?
Yeah,
name?
they were
It's Geneva
targeted on a
Heights.
couple different spots.
So Geneva Heights, they've actually kicked it off.
Yeah.
We're looking at Windsor. That one hasn't been announced or formalized yet, but that one is kind of on our radar right now.
Oh, are we looking at using the Windsor building as well?
Not Windsor, sorry. What was it?
Sharon.
What
Yeah,
what's the
Sharon.
long-term plan for that property?
Sharon?
Yeah.
The school owns it.
I had an interesting conversation with the mayor about Sharon Elementary, and he said that they recently passed an ordinance that said that any school had to be in perpetuity a school or a park. And so Alpine School
They
District.
did that like a year or two ago, like
Yeah.
a year and a half ago.
Yep.
So they can't develop it into high rises. It has to be either an open
Community.
park or a school system. And so they're looking at, like you said, leasing it from Alpine School District because Alpine School District doesn't have any other option to go with it.
Yep.
So it's they either have to maintain it or they lease it out to somebody who will, and the city is interested in it.
As desperate as this school district must be for money, why would they take away, hand tie them with that asset?
So the school district really isn't making any money on the lease. They just are making sure they don't go into debt with it. But
I'm talking
oh, yeah.
about the school district.
Why would we
Yeah.
tie the schools?
They have a big asset there, and the city has done something that disallows them from using the. That's stunning to me. Unless they do use it for another school, which may need to happen at some point down the road. That's I would think that's a little damaging.
That would be something to talk with the city council about.
I gotta go take a Valium first.
Well, that's part of community planning, I would think. I mean, just like you would want to have open areas.
Well,
For
those aren't the
parks and
only
things like that.
options.
I think there were people that share your same feelings that were showing up to those meetings when that happened. I
It
didn't
was
follow
before
that
I was
closely,
in
but
office.
yeah, it was a couple
There were
years
definitely
ago.
concerns on
A
both
little
sides.
Yeah, it was,
Retaliatory.
retaliatory against Alpine School District from the old city council. That's how I viewed it.
yeah, it seemed that way.
Well, I came from Colorado, and Greeley, Colorado had a lot of places that they just left as open space, that they zoned so that it would be open space for parks and for community type function. There's nothing wrong with doing that as a city.
No, certainly not.
And so it makes the city a more family-friendly community.
Yeah.
If you put high-rises in there, it's no longer a family-friendly community.
Right.
Well, you know, there are other things besides high-rises. I could see them making stipulations that that can't be there because it's a residential neighborhood, but I just can't believe they would hamstring them like that.
I think it was strategic.
Oh, yeah. But there's a need for single-family homes too,
Yeah.
Exactly.
you know? So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know how long the term of the lease is. I think for now it's looking like a long-term lease if we make that base camp for my hometown initiative. I think they're going to be using the Sharon building for a lot of those classes that Jenn had mentioned. That would be the place where we would hold those classes. And I think police is even looking at it for long-term evidence storage in some ways. And
Oh, isn't that pitiful? They need that big a thing for evidence.
yeah, they're running out of
Well,
room.
parts of it. I don't think they'd use the
Just
whole
parts of
thing.
it. There's a lot of the building that will remain unused.
But it would
I
be,
was part of the group that went.
it would be great for
surveyed.
community education.
Yeah,
That would be a great use for it, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. We had a few neighbors stop by while we were there going over the building, and they were thrilled to hear that the city was stepping in to do something with the property, so.
So the building is in good repair. It's not like they're
Mhm.
gonna have to do any major
No,
repairs
should-
to the,
Should be able to move right in and use it. There's a great area that appeared to be like maybe pre and K, and there's like a big open room that we could have dividers, and it would be a great daycare facility with all the mini counters and tables and sinks and little kitchen right next to it. It's set up really nice. It'd be perfect for what we're hoping to use it for, so.
I
There's a
apologize. I
gymnasium.
have to step out here in just a minute, so I don't know, is there anything else on for this committee?
well, I was just curious. You know, the award program is a nice thing, but it is really reactive rather than proactive. Is there any interest in getting groups together to actually help people improve their own properties?
Yeah, that's neighborhood improvement team takes care of that. That's part of public safety. We've got a whole team that goes out and are the ones that try to encourage and helps organize.
So things that might come under our purview are really being taken care of in
Yeah,
other
in
places.
other areas, yeah.
Well, I guess what did you have in mind, or do you have anything specific in mind?
Well, I've seen where it's been done in other communities where they've actually helped people improve.
Mhm.
One of the things I really enjoy, and the concept that I wholeheartedly support, is vegescaping and
That's
helping
fun.
people understand that they don't have to plant grass,
Yeah,
that they can plant things that they can eat.
yeah.
So this wouldn't necessarily be like, hey, your fence is falling over, let's fix it. It's more people saying, hey, have you considered this? Would you be interested in doing vegescaping? We're doing a class on it.
Or if somebody's got a place that's run down that really needs some help, saying, you know, have you considered doing something else? And if you can't afford to water a lawn, can you afford to put in, if we help you put in a drip system and plant something you can benefit from? mean, I live in a condominium, but I plant strawberries at the border for my flower bed,
Yeah,
and grow pots in my backyard.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
I think that's fantastic, Bob, and I don't know why we wouldn't be able to, if you want to have a class, we can have a class. We can totally do something like that. I don't think it's outside of the scope of the Beautification Commission to do something like that. It's just, we've never had someone quite as ambitious as you
Or a skill,
that,
actually.
that wants to do that.
Well,
So
there's-
if you want
there's a
to
whole
expand
org-
the scope and dive in,
there's
we
a
can do
state
all that.
organization for vegescaping,
Mhm.
and I sat in on a presentation that was made by one of their founders
Yeah,
at Thanksgiving Point. And he showed some amazing things that people were doing with, you know,
mhm.
arbors that were squash.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really fun to offer a vegescaping class, or at
Yeah.
least show people ideas or inspiration. Or I don't know what you would be willing to do, but I think that sounds
Well,
fun.
and I think the city's hoping to do that eventually with that. Have you seen the plans for the new garden area at the library hall? They're planning on putting a mini park in there with a greenhouse where we would essentially be able to do those classes for the community. Have a little greenhouse space where you teach gardening, and maybe we'll have a professional bonsai artist come and
Mhm.
teach a bonsai class.
Or at the Sharon
All the
Elementary.
fun things, so.
Or maybe early in the year, do an article in the newsletter and link, a class.
Well, really, if we were going to promote gardening, we should be doing classes this fall
Yeah,
to teach people what they need to do to prepare for the spring.
Would it be more cost effective if we did them as virtual meetings? Once we have the original class, then it remains online and people can view it at any point in time they want. And about I like the idea of helping people to spruce up their homes, but then how does that conflict with the ones where people get penalized for having a yard that looks horrible? I mean, I would just be concerned about how we would.
Well,
Coordinates
you're more
it.
effective in putting a carrot out there than a stick.
Well, yeah, it is. All I'm saying is that some people get visits from people who are not there for friendly reasons, but threatening them with, some legal recourse if they don't clean up their yard.
Yeah.
So how do we distinguish who gets helped by, a group of volunteer citizens and who gets a ticket?
I think it might have to be more of a, hey, we're offering this opportunity to anyone who would like to avail themselves of it. Because I think you're right, there is a group that goes around, like anytime there's a complaint lodged, the neighborhood improvement team goes out and, looks into it. And then that's the scenario you're talking about. It would be difficult though to say, hey, your property needs a little bit of work, can we help you out? Those are difficult conversations to have. I don't know, what ideas do you have?
Giving people the alternative. If you have somebody that's identifying it because of complaints in the neighborhood, why not say you have two choices? You can do it yourself, or we have this group of volunteers that are willing to help you.
Which they do that actually. They do help people with the properties. Usually it's not a problem. It's more of a problem if they're unable to continue helping it once it's done, kind of a thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that would be kind of sad to put the time and money and effort into it and see it fall in disrepair in 6 months down the road, a year. But, we just have to think of a way to do that wasn't
Well,
insulting.
we're not the first ones to even consider it. There's other communities that are doing it.
Yeah.
Well, they do have like the Gold Star properties where they're properties that I believe it's through the Neighborhood Improvement Commission, or the Neighborhood Commission, that those blighted properties, when they've come in and helped them clean it up,
Right.
and then they, if they've been able to upkeep it, it's like a Gold Star. They get a Gold Star award or something to that effect. I think the city gives them. That's something that maybe we can track, and then the next year see how well it's held up, if they're keeping it up, and then give them more encouragement. Okay, they're continuing to do the Beautification Award, to keep incentive.
Well, I don't think that anyone who's having trouble in the first place is going to be able to keep it up if they don't have help in knowing how to keep it up.
Yeah.
You know, what does
So
it take
is
to
your
maintain
goal
it?
ultimately to help people that are on the list of like, hey, the property's kind of struggling? Or is your goal ultimately just to say, here's some alternatives to people, other ways you can think about landscaping and more educational?
Could be either one or both.
Yeah, okay. So I think you would just maybe approach it differently depending on your end goal, because there is
Yeah.
already a neighborhood improvement, what is it, the NIT,
Mhm.
neighborhood improvement team,
Neighborhood
and then we also
improvement
have a
team.
neighborhood commission. And there's some overlap in those two things, and so this, part of what you're talking about maybe speaks to those commissions. And if we're looking at more of an educational, here's some ideas, here's how we might do vegescaping, those kinds of things, that might really fall well under this umbrella here. So maybe.
Are we getting so many different factions that are working on the same types of things that we're not very effective?
No, because you guys don't want to be the ones banging on doors telling people to clean up their yards.
No.
And enforcement and tickets and all that, you know, I think everything's where it probably ought to be. I think we just need to play with inside our scope and see what we can do to make this as awesome as you want it to be.
I think there's tons of opportunity to do some of the things you're talking about. I think
Yeah.
we just need to be a little bit clearer on what the goals are and what kinds of scope we want to have in a project and what kind of appetite there is among committee members to do it. But I think there's tons of opportunity.
And
all
there's
the time to-
opportunity to work with the natural resources
Yeah, to
commission
partner with
as
them.
well, because with the xeriscaping, that works well with the vegescaping, because you're talking about drip systems instead of a wide sprinkler system, and you're talking about, instead of a grass, having beds, and that works with the xeriscaping.
So you're saying
portion.
you could partner with like the
Yeah.
Natural Resources Stewardship
Yeah.
Commission?
Yeah, and the Utah Water District, Central Utah Water District, who teaches classes about how to do this and offers rebates for doing some of the xeriscaping options that they have and stuff. So there's a lot of options to make people aware of, and maybe that's something that we can.
And the
really
city
focus.
advertises all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Water puts that out in newsletters and things. We educate the community on that stuff.
I haven't seen anything on it.
No?
No.
You follow the Facebook and Instagram of the city?
No, how many people do?
A lot.
Oh, I
We have
do.
a lot of people who are engaged in that. But they put all that stuff out in those pretty regularly. At least making people aware of the rebates that Central Utah offers and things like that.
And if somebody has a blighted yard, that means they're not putting that much effort into it, right? So maybe a better, I don't know what this committee does, but teaching them low maintenance landscaping where they're not putting a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
But are they actually getting ticketed and saying, okay, you've been ticketed, now you need to improve? Or is that what that team does or not?
Well, I know there were lots of complaints lodged against those two homes on 100 North and 200 East,
Yeah.
and nothing ever changed there.
Well, I think they're completely renovated now.
Well, yeah,
But
because they
it was
sold
that
them,
way
but
for
I
years
mean,
and years.
For
Yeah.
years, and complaints and nothing.
Yeah, I think they were back and forth with the city legally for a long time. It was kind of a mess. I know exactly which homes you're talking about.
Well, and it's odd because the one on the other corner now was all fixed up, and the guy who bought it was doing a great job. You know, the previous owners had done things, and now he's sick, and that one's turning to pot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's really sad, and it's not just a matter of the landscaping. You know, the fence is in terrible repair.
I think that the idea is awesome, and I think that there's probably an appetite for it in the community. I think it's more we advertise that this is something that we're going to offer, and those that are interested will come. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people, I think, that maybe don't have an appetite for gardening and couldn't care less, and probably would view that as more maintenance and more of a commitment. So to go and engage with people, and your yard's in disrepair, we could help you turn it into a vegetable garden, I think would be a real challenge. I think if we were to just put out there that this is something we offer as an alternative, there's all sorts of awesome ways that you could utilize your space to make it beneficial for your family and easier to maintain, and we'd love to have a class to show you how to do that, you know, get some hype surrounded around that. We have an innovation team that does videos. We've actually even hired like a video team from time to time to help with certain educational aspects of the city doing outreach. If you wanted to put together a class, and we could have our innovation team come and visit you for a day at the garden, and we could do something and record it and post it, and essentially have an archive of Beautification Commission gardening lessons if you wanted to. There's a lot of ways that we could educate the community and satisfy that appetite if you want to explore options. But I think that would maybe be a more successful avenue rather than targeting people and trying to get them to bite off on this is a better way to do your yard. You'd have to just put it out there, and those that are interested and want to do it, that have an interest, would probably be really cool.
And
It'd be
there,
interesting to see how many
yeah,
participate.
there's certainly some resources that are out there. I wouldn't have to be the one doing it. I mean, some people are already doing it already.
Yeah,
So we could point them to the right
point
resources.
'em to-
So
Yeah.
if you're
Or
interested in.
if we could get someone from the Vegescaping Initiative or whatever it is, what their organization is called, I can look it up.
there's probably links.
Yeah, there'd
They've
be
already
links
got
for
those
it.
videos, and we can just put them in our newsletter and educate
Okay.
that way.
I think the extension office for Utah State has those where I got my article.
Yeah,
They're,
Yeah, I
they're a
agree.
good resource for,
Yeah, we have an extension office right here in Orem.
mhm.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone does. Really.
Michael
And
Karen
let's
is
put that
the
information
extension,
on the
he's the
newsletter.
extension agent, and he's right on
So there's
800
always
North,
been-
just before you go into the canyon.
So
Yeah.
can you tell me what's going on with my grass?
What's the problem with your grass?
I got weird stuff growing in it. I don't know. And it's just spreading further and further.
know
And I
it
just look
bothers
at it and think, oh, I don't know. But maybe you could tell me how to fix it. I just didn't know he had a guy, so that's good to know. Thank you for educating me.
You can take the weed to him, and he'll tell you how you can take care of it.
I
It's
thought
some
that
kind
they-
of ground cover that they had. Anyway, it just spread before we moved in. It spread.
Okay. Well, there are probably some herbicides that'll take care of that.
Yeah.
That's what I need to know.
In fact, our condo association was unaware of the problem that I had in my front yard with yellow foxtail. And once I pointed it out to them, the landscaping group, put some poison on it and killed it.
Oh, wow.
And it's gone.
Wow.
Took a couple of applications, but now the bluegrass can grow in
I gotta go.
because it chokes it out.
Well, I feel like the summary of that was there's lots of opportunity,
There's lots
maybe
of
depending
yeah.
on how this commission wants to shape it, because this right here is the powerhouse of of our commission. So whatever you collectively decide you want to put your energy into, I think we can cheer and say that sounds awesome.
Let us know what you want to do, and we'll figure out how to support you in doing that
Okay.
as a group.
What kind of budget do we have?
April?
I'd have to get onto records and stuff to see, look at the art. I can't tell you
It's a
what
good thing
we
to
have in
Enough to buy candy for the
Yeah,
parade.
that's-
Well,
we have
enough to buy
enough
candy and shirts,
candy in the parade.
Are we just trying to pilfer from other committees?
That's
Funnel our
right.
way.
That's why we
We're
partner with other
volunteers
companies to
that'll
help.
help pull things together.
Yeah,
We don't
right.
have this unlimited amount of money.
Well, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
us, but, what I'm hearing is that there are other committees who might get to help support things, programs that we develop.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would be nice, really, to get together the people that are kind of on each other's shirt tails to see what their interests are and how we can dovetail with them and work with them. I mean, we sit here and we talk about people that are doing things.
And we have no idea what they are,
Yeah.
who they are, what we may be duplicating efforts. I think that would be.
With the other commissions, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, we make sure of that. There's no crossover.
Well, and we
Well,
are
You're
aware there
wanting
is
to
some
cross over is
because
what's
when you-
happening.
Because when you do, like, your awards, there is the question whether or not you think that this could be the natural resources with the xeriscaping question in when you give out awards. So we do try to, like, work with them, like, to recognize xeriscaping, but it would be nice to work with some other
Yeah.
commissions.
You could probably go sit in on some of those, Bob, if you're really interested.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all open meetings. Anyone
Yeah.
can come and attend this one if they want to.
I know, nobody's gonna stop you.
I was surprised. we
Well, I'm
approved
retired,
to accommodate.
You're looking for something to
You should have
do.
seen it when
Well,
we
I
were
substitute
at the
teach because I'm board.
Yeah.
I
We
can
got a whole
step
bunch
out.
of commissions you can come to.
Okay, I'll see ya.
See you later.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks, Jared.
You guys.
Bye.
I started.
I gotta get going too,
Do
so I
we
can
wanna,
get my boy to his football game.
Come up with the next meeting time? Do we want to just do January then and just come over and pick up the signs, or?
That is totally up to you.
You're gonna wanna
guys.
do that sooner, because you got holiday signs to come pick up.
Yeah, and that
Right.
will be.
So
It just depends on
November?
I can put out when we put out the signs, and you guys can decide if you want to have a meeting.
Okay.
Then when I got the signs, I can let you guys know, and you guys can decide if you want to have a meeting to just discuss what your plans are, and what if you want to hit the ground running in January, and this is what we're gonna do.
Is there anything that needs to be done on the community garden between now and January?
I'd be happy to go speak to the IHC people.
I'll take care of that with Hillary.
Okay.
We'll go meet with them and kind of get some feedback from them. I will provide an update. I think we probably ought to plan to have a meeting 1st of November though, so you can get your holiday signs. And I'll provide an update then on next steps with the community garden.
Okay.
I don't know that there's anything you can do unless you want to start reaching out to people you know with deep pockets.
And
You
do
can participate in fundraising and
do either one of you handle the 12th East 3rd North in Orem for your assigned area? Because there is a house on 12th East between 3rd and 4th North that has already the most spectacular Halloween stuff.
Oh, really?
Oh, God.
Third
yeah.
and fourth north? Okay. Yeah, I
Is it
think that's
12th
my
or
area.
11th? It's the first street west of Palisades.
I think I know where you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it is.
Okay.
It's spectacular.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's, all those in favor of adjourning, or anyone want to make a proposal to adjourn?
I propose we adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We're done.
Awesome.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I
So,
just sent
if
the
you would,
brochure
you know,
and contact us and
Get me
Awesome.
those,
I
you
will.
know, when those other committees
I have
meet,
called commercial
that kind of
landscapers.
deal with
Yeah,
some
I'll
of the
see
same
if, I
things we
think
do.
we post that, because they're public meetings, but I'll see if I can't
Well,
find
send me
it and get it to you.
a text message of just those that
My
you,
next stop is the
committees
landscaping
that you
place
think would be
Yeah.
valuable for me to,
Okay.
sit in on.
Yeah.
I would be interested in that.
Grasses and the
Uh-huh.
I can do that.
but that's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys have a great night.
Yeah. So.
But it'd be nice to
I-
have some
I think,
coordination.
you know, with- When you did the HOA, that
there's
was
not
really
overlap.
nice.
Well, even if there's not overlap, just so that
Yeah.
if we have ideas that might be helpful to them or them
Yeah.
for us,
Not let things get funny.
if you don't have any
Well,
communication,
and
Yep, I
Doesn't
agree.
happen.
you might
I
want to check
agree.
maybe the Sleepy
Well,
Ridge
thank
golf
you.
course, see what they
Thanks,
look like.
ladies.
You know,
Or
people
something.
can just hold, why aren't these things coming into
Well, Sleepy Ridge, I know about Sleepy Ridge because I have to, I have a brother who lives